My name is Erika. I'm from Lithuanian Agriculture Advisory Service. I'm representing my organization. And as well, I'm representing international project nations. And the main aim of the nations, I think, it's to spread awareness about healthy soil, and also to tell to different stakeholders about living labs. So it's kind of a new way of working, like new way of creating projects. So I will try to explain like what is living labs, how to create it, how test it, and why it's very important. So and talking about nations, so Lithuania are responsible for all the Baltic region to spread that information. And last month, like in the middle of June, we organized event in almost the biggest agricultural exhibition in Lithuania. And we had very different participants in our event, from researchers, farmers, advisors. Also, we have people from forestry who are working in public organization, or just they are just foresters. And also we have some people like farmers, as I said, and small business owners as well. And on Friday we had a seminar with Estonian people, and also we discussed a little bit about our soil situation and how to solve the problems. So I will try to explain for you. As I said, one important thing, that our meeting will be recorded, so I hope it will not be a problem for you. So it's after all, we will share the video. So, and later it will be for you easier to remember what about we talked today. And also I would like to mention that this week we will have translation of my presentation in Latvian language. So for you to be also better to understand the concept of living labs and what I told you. So the most important of our project is like the mission of a soil deal for Europe. So as we talked before, like we had small discussion that the soil is very, very important for everything. And for example, I'm working in Lithuanian Agriculture Advisory Service, so naturally we have a lot of clients who are who have like big crop production farms, and all the time we are saying for them that you should put more efforts to make your soil healthier. We are encouraging them to make soil analysis and to have more activities with the soil. And we're trying to engage them to work more with precision farming tools, equipments, and programs in case that soil should be healthier. And as we know that soil is not healthy, not just because like the main problem with it's our activities, human activities. And now we have numbers, and those numbers are not very, very good. So two-thirds of European soil has we have a lot of problems. So we should try to find the ways to make soil in better condition. And there is some numbers that it's not very easy. There is a lot of problems, so we have to put a lot of money to solve those problems. And as you can see from the numbers, every year we have to put over 50 billion euros to solving soil problems. So it's a lot of money, and but there is some money in which we can use. So there are a lot of different projects, different calls for applications. So later I will explain more about it. So we have soil monitoring law. So it's the main object of it that like in whole continent, in whole Europe, we should identify in all the regions, we should identify the soil problems to fix it, to monitor it, and to try to find like common ways how to solve the problems. So it's like we have kind of the main goal by 2050 to have our soils like toxic free, more healthier, and more usable for our needs, like for society needs. And maybe you know, but I will explain a little bit more that one of the mission goals till 2030 to have like a big network of living labs and lighthouses. So we have to create more than 100 living labs and lighthouses in all the region, and to have network, and that network should bring to society, to us more good examples how we can treat our soil in better way. And you have 5 missions. So one of the mission is a soil deal for Europe. So it's like the heart of EU Green Deal. So I think you know about it because there is a lot of information in internet. There is a lot of information like in different blogs. So as you know, that is very, very, very important. And the soil mission, we have 8 objectives. So it's I would like to mention all, because I think not just few regions have these problems, but for example, in Lithuania, we have some of this problem. So first one is reduce desertification. So we have this problem in Lithuania. Conserve and increase soil organic carbon stocks. We also have this problem with our soils. Stop soil sealing and increase the reuse of urban soils. Reduce soil pollution and enhance restoration. Also prevent erosion. This is a very big problem in Lithuania as well. Improve soil structure to enhance soil biodiversity. Reduce the EU goal footprint of soils. Improve soil literacy in society. So later on in my presentation, we will come back to these objectives because it's very, very important. So as I said, like mission has the main goal to create 100 living labs and lighthouses across all the continent, but those living labs and lighthouses should be from different land uses, so agriculture, forestry, natural, industrial, and urban sites. And also it's very important that we have to, I don't know how to say, we have to prepare like community of people who can be like soil advocates, soil ambassadors, who can spread their experience, good knowledge about soil health and how we can increase it. And it's very important to mention that we have to think not just about some researches or some studies, but we should think about end user. So what the need of what the needs have end users, and to try to create some solutions, like in the end of the story, the end user should be happy. So foresters, farmers, or maybe citizens who lives in different regions. So all when you are thinking about creating living lab, should be the bottom approach, like from bottom to up. Then you identifying the problem and you trying to solve the problem, but you should have like a big team of people who are working in different ranges. So okay, have problems. So mission has four blocks. So today I will talk more about living labs and lighthouses. So it's like about network of real life sites. And also it's very important, something maybe like new approach. So the part soil literacy, communication, and citizen engagement. So as I mentioned before, we have to work with different target groups. So who are, and to make like, to spread more awareness about healthy soil, and just for different target groups, for different communities, not just for like folks like who are making business of soil, but for people who are also using the soil. And sorry, so I will try to explain more about soil living labs and lighthouses. So when I'm talking with people about living labs, all the time I'm saying that it's better to look to living lab like big project with different partners. Like partners could be scientists, researchers, advisor, farmers, citizens, like very different team who can look to the soil problem from different perspectives. And when you have like team with different people, so you can look to the problem from different parts, and you can create different solution for that problem. And it's very important in living lab or in lighthouses to have like real life settings that people can, sites where people can come. You can, in that place, you can change your experience. You can spread that good solutions in wider range. So, and talking about lighthouses is that place where you can demonstrate what you created. Yeah. So it's like lighthouses is important for demonstration, also for trainings, when you are like, you have people from different parts, and you can learn from each other, you can educate each other, and also you can network, to have networking sessions, and you can spread all the ideas inside and outside the lighthouses, and you can inspire each other for making some differences with the soil. And we know that it's sometimes like last year was also like the call for living labs and lighthouses, and we have some experience from last year, and we identified some challenges. And because I would like to mention that when you are creating living lab, you should have like, it should be international. So you should cover not just your country, but you should cover more than, for example, 3 countries. So when you're creating international team, you would have a lot of challenges, starting from the language, because normally probably communication starts with English, and also sometimes it's very hard to understand what kind of goals has different partners. Sometimes it's very hard to talk about the problem and to identify what kind of goals you want to have in the end of the project. And then when you are created a living lab, and it's the most important, the result. And sometimes it's very hard to involve for example, farmers, foresters, or other stakeholders. So, and in the end, it's very hard to keep all the time the motivation for creation and for implementation of the results. And as we talked with our partners and colleagues, and why we have to create living lab, like it's nice, after all, you can have like good experience from this international team. You can be inspired, you can learn how to think out of the box, because sometimes you have the problem and in your head you have just one solution. So when you are a big team, you can share your ideas, you can listen approaches from different stakeholders, and you can adapt in your way. of working what we are created. Also, it's very nice when you have the same goals, and it's very nice to try to reach those goals with inspired and very nice and strong team. And sorry. So when you are creating a living lab, so it's very important to have like field for co-creation, and it's very important to have like big set of stakeholders, like as I said before, with different approach to the problem. And also it's very important during process to have like real life settings where you can test everything. And also it's very important in that co-creation testing process involved the end users. And also it's very important to mention that that business model should be sustainable and adaptable for end users like you and me. So talking more about soil living labs and lighthouses, so there are some different ways how it should work. So one way of like living labs, they could be regional or sub-regional. So regional, it's like, for example, I don't know, Scandinavia, Baltic countries, and for example, I know Poland. When we're talking about sub-regional, it could be like Baltic states. And it's very important to mention that when we are creating living labs, so we should have like experimentation sites. So we should like the places where we can experiment and demonstrate. So those living labs with experimentation sites could be like more like local. It could be one farm, one forest, or one urban side. And lighthouses can work inside the living lab or can work outside the living lab. As I said before, it's very important that lighthouses should be open places for demonstrating good practice solutions of soil health. And one project, they have to create 4 or 5 living labs, and it have to have from 10 to 20 experimental sites each. So it's very important to have places where we can experiment everything what we created, co-created, and that place is very important for testing. So you can see that like everything is connected, all the living labs are connected, and in those living labs they are sharing solutions of a health problem, and they have experimental sites, and everything is going through all the network. And it's very important to mention that that living labs can focus, for example, on the same objective, but different land of use. For example, we have, I don't know, erosion problem, but we can try to solve this problem and to look to different soils, for example, agricultural, forestry, or urban, and etc. So it's like it can be you can look to that to one problem from different land use types. Also, living labs can focus on different objectives, for example, erosion, desertification, or other, but with the same land use. For example, could be agriculture or forestry or other. And also, living lab could have the same objective and the same land use. So we have, for example, I don't know, erosion or desertification in forestry. So there are some different ways how to look to the soil from different use of type. So I mentioned that there is some challenges, but I think that we have 8 objectives, But if we look to the map of Europe, to our continent, I think there is almost the same problems everywhere. So, for example, this is sub-regional. So here you can create living lab, but this, I think, is the best way to look to the region, to the region. And for example, I think we can look, like in our situation, to in the Baltics or in Scandinavia as well, and we can identify the common problems. So, and we can create like big living lab in the region, and to try to solve like in teamwork our problems. So for example, we have, for example, reduce desertification and prevent erosion. So it's the main, as I said in the beginning of my presentation, that the mission goals, objectives and goals are the most important. So we should try to solve those objectives in our living labs. So in this example, we can see that we have reduced desertification and prevent erosion, and we can see like in different countries we are solving the same problems. And as I mentioned, last year was the first call for living labs and lighthouses. And as I remember, it was about 40 applications, and the biggest part of applications was from agricultural range. Few application was from forestry, and almost none from urban or industrial land of use. So now I think, like, if you will decide to, I don't know, to create consortium or to join to consortium who has ideas for example, forestry, soil, or for urban or for industrial, so you would have better chances that your application would be founded by the Horizon call. So then, and we saw some, we had some discussion, and we saw some problems why some of application didn't get money for the projects for living labs. So it's, as we know all the time, firstly, it's very important to identify the main problem of the soil, and to have some data who can show exact that you like to show, to prove that you that there is really the problem, and to have like more than a few ideas how to solve that problem with, I don't know. And in the end of the day, it's the most important to have good partners who also see the problems in the same light, and also who would like to strongly join to your team, and strongly would like to solve those problems. And also, as I mentioned, that living labs should be like international. So you should think more like you should try to find the same problems in the region, in your country partners, and you should try to think how you will manage all the process of creating living lab, because it's not easy. It's not just one country. It's not your native country. You should have partners from different countries, and sometimes it's very hard to manage all the process, how you will share information, how you will create the solutions of soil problems, how you will share it in different experimental sites and so on. So it's not easy. And now in Europe, we have kind of living labs and lighthouses. We have kind of a network, but it's not specific for soil health. So as I mentioned before, like this concept of project is kind of new, and we have not a lot of we have not a lot of experience how to create like very strong and good living labs. But I'm talking about soil. But if we look from different perspectives, some countries have experience, and we are sharing good examples how to create like very good and functional soil health living lab. So later I will show some examples of living labs, so maybe it will be easier to understand about the concept of it. So here is the link. If you would like, after all, you can, after presentation, you can use it and check all these sites. So also, as I mentioned before, living lab should be from different land use types. So it is four types of soil, so agricultural, forestry, urban, and industrial. So if you want to have more information, more statistic, or some more information about living labs, so there is some fact sheets which you can find also online, and to read more about it and to have more experience, and that information you can use like in the future when you will want, if you will want to create a living lab. So there's some fact sheets, and I will share that information later. So talking about multi-actor approach, so we have like 4 blocks. So one block is academia, another block is public sector and government, another sector industry. So industry is kind of new. Like normally in the projects, like EU projects, we don't have like this kind of partners. So it's kind of new. And also citizens and civil society, also not in all the projects, though this target group are involved. And I will try to explain more. For example, if you would like to create industry living lab, so from agriculture, you can involve farmers, landowners, advisors, agro business companies. From urban, you can invite builders, constructors, urban planners. From forestry, you can involve landowners and forest managers, forest companies, forest owners, industries, land managers. From industrial part, so you can involve land developers, environmental consultants, farmers. And also we can talk about if we want to partners from government and public sector. So we can invite, for example, from an agricultural part, local, regional, and national authorities. From urban, public authorities and private agencies, public administrations, health authorities. From forestry, local, regional, and national authorities, governmental organization, agencies, and etc. Now I think it's like for us it's more interesting. So from academia part, where we can try to find partners. So from agriculture, researchers from universities, governmental organization, research institutes. From urban, universities, social sciences research institutions, physical science research institutions, and so on. From forestry, researchers in forest and soil science, social science researchers, universities, and etc. And from like citizens, civil societies, users, also we can try here to find some partners. So from agriculture parts could be people from NGOs, citizens groups, local, regional, and national movements. From urban, inhabitants, civil groups, from forestry, urban and local citizens, communities, from industrial, for example, environmental organization, and etc. So now we had like few slides, like, and it's like kind of a map where we can try to find partners. So I think it's important to mention it. So I have some examples about living labs. And okay, my slides not working so good. So when we have, for example, a living lab from Hungary, it's kind of new one, and the main aim of it was to create a hub for sustainable soil management and precision agriculture. So it's like for this Carpathian region. And they also try to find different stakeholders and to have kind of collaboration and to try to find different ideas for it. So it's kind of new thing. Also, we identified one laboratory for forestry living lab. So it is from Spain, and you know that few years ago in Spain and Portugal as well was a big problem with fires in forests. So the partners, we established a model village where civilians can protect themselves in the event of rural interface fires. So I think it's very important and useful living lab. Another one kind of example for could be urban living lab, and it was established in Torino city. So that living lab tested real conditions of innovative solution for urban living. So it's also new approach to it. It's a nice example. And industrial, so talking about industrial living labs, it's as we can see from experience, it's not easy to create it because it's very hard to make awareness in business, as it's kind of weird, but it's usually business. It's not how to say. It's not so active in the project, but we have example from France. So they kind of created some solution for the region and we try to how to say, to make awareness of a lot of different sorry, my voice is, I'm not talking like every day so much, so it's my voice is going somewhere. So okay, so as I mentioned before, we have like 4 different kinds of living labs. So agricultural, forestry, urban, and industrial living labs. So there is example, and later in the slides you can go to their websites and to look at like more deeply. Okay, so as I mentioned before, last year we don't have like any applications for urban living labs. So this year, like the mission wants to put more attention to it, And so we try to make kind of example of how to create and how it works the urban living lab. So the idea was, for example, to create urban gardens, and so as we can see from the picture, so we have different groups of participators. So like in the main the main end user citizens, and like in this puzzle should be land managers, architects, urban planners, public administration, and others. So for the event of the day, like we have to have different people from different parts, and to have like a good solution for citizens, for example, urban gardens. And as I said before, now we have 2 calls for creating living labs and lighthouses. So one of it co-creation solution for soil health and in living labs. So in this call, you can, I don't know, create ideas for living labs, agricultural, forestry, industrial. And there is another call for living labs in urban areas. And application, you have to create application till the 8th of October, and to put this application in funding and tenders portal. I think you know the portal if you have opportunity to participate in international project. And as I mentioned before, in the application should be 4 or 5 living labs in at least 3 different countries. And so I will talk a little bit about money. And as I mentioned, that mission has 8 objectives, so all of them is written again. And for co-creation of soil health and living labs, we have 36 millions. It looks like a lot of money, but we're expecting that just 3 application will be funded. And for urban living labs, there are 12 millions euros, and expected that 1 application will be funded. So we wrote like we're expecting, because we're just thinking about last year experience. And so for this reason, it's very important to have very good idea and good solution for that idea, or it's maybe the best way to find partners who are creating consortium, and you can join with your ideas like to existing team. So it will be maybe easier. I think, like I'm sharing my experience. I think that is sometimes it's better to not start from scratch, but to join the team. But in the end of the day, if you have like very, very, very good idea, you can start from scratch, and you can start the consortium, and you can try to find partners who can join, and you can be the leader if you want. And I don't know, we can talk a little bit. So Dagny, we talked like in the beginning. Maybe you can share your experience, what's happening in Latvian forestry soil. Do you have like problems which I mentioned in mission goals? For example, I don't know, erosion, desertification, or other. What's the problem in forests?
Yeah, of course. Usually are some areas where we have problems, and the main ones I think is nutrients imbalance. which is caused by acidification of soil. So pH went down. And in this case, even if these nutrient elements are presenting in soil, they are in forms which is not available to plants and trees. And as usually first suffer these huger ones, like in former times dinosaurs, the huger ones get the bigger problems when something's changed. The same is in forest ecosystem. When something is changing a lot, the trees are the first ones who is showing that something went wrong in this site, because the smallest ones, they survive and they are more adaptive. Especially the old forests, they have such problems. That is one, of course, those are erosion, because we have not mountains, but we have our local microterrain, let's say. So there is steep hills and valleys in these areas, which is very nice and landscape, but there is still some erosion by water and by wind. If after fires and after windfalls, if these owners are not smart enough to come and to regenerate them. And and also there is another one thing, there's the eutrophication, because during several rotations, there's not some organic material that is collecting and collecting and collecting. From one side, it's very good because we have more carbon, but from other side, that carbon which comes to soils, sometimes they, at least in the Excel sheets, that should come out, and then we are in trouble with all these greenhouse gases. As well, because this eutrophication, there is changes in vegetation. And of course, our botanists, they would like to conserve the forest, to keep it as it is.
Oh, in Finland, we have the same problem. We have like people who say, no, don't touch the forest, and we are going to protest for everything. But,
Yeah, but those are processes which is in some longer or shorter cycles. And there's just some species of trees in Latvia which could grow more than 100 years. A lot of them lifetime is shorter, and that means that they are just decaying and falling down. And anyway, we have unattached forest for a long time, but we have not any more old trees in this old forest. So, and that means that vegetation also changes, and those are not these species which is together with old trees. And finally, that forests are in bad condition, but not but that's just because of age and because of normal processes. Those are my problems. And of course, we have fires. Of course, we have windfalls. We have windbreaks.
But just this specific region of Latvia, or like in the whole? Because I think about the windfalls.
I think acidification and eutrophication, those are ones. Because acidification, it's because of a lot of spruce stands and coniferous stands. And eutrophication, it's because we stopped the practice that we are burning forest residues. We stopped the practice to clean forest sites after forest operations. We left everything as it is to decay, and finally it is nutrient elements. Those are, those is the main things. Regional one, I would like to.
And how do you think, like, could the living lab, like with different partners from different countries, could somehow could solve these problems, like eutrophication or erosion?
I think yes, it's possible to solve in long term by coming back to some practices or changing some practices in forestry and in forest management. But we need approval for that one, and also we need some evidences that way how we thinking is right. So it's very easy for NGOs. They just could make some announcements. They could make campaigns, but we are a research institute, and in research institutes we should to have evidence.
But for example, if you like, okay, if we
So
are,
we should to have evidence. That means that for us it is very useful to have these living labs as well like houses. When several countries or several institutions come together, they have some experience, they have some records for history, what can be done, what happened in these times, these sites, and connection between management activities and final result. So it's very useful. And that's why we are very open to cooperation, and we already are partners in two soil-related horizon projects that is in best soil and bioservices. And in the initial application of project, we wrote that we will have lighthouse. But
it's nice.
as only one project are how to say that there is only one who as a lighthouse definition were not yet fixed. We was obligated to change our lighthouse name to case studies. So we have several case studies, and the same is another project. But really, that sites these case studies, they are built up according to those ideas, which is for lighthouses, as you presented.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, and also we just almost finished it, collection of samples for different land uses, and that will be as a living lab in long term. So
it's nice.
So we already are in some process.
Oh, it's very nice. So you have experience. It's very nice that you can share it. So, for example, with this, which countries you would like to cooperate? For example, which countries for you would be interesting? Baltic region, Scandinavia, or others? Like, like from which countries you would like to have experience, or which countries you would like to co-create some solutions for better soil for your problems which you mentioned before.
Of course, in Baltic states, our problems is very similar. So Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, we have similar problems. There is some more Nordic issues in Estonia and some source issues in Lithuania, of course, and more continental issues in Lithuania. But otherwise, we have similar ones. So I think that it is very nice to have some bunches of countries, for example, 3 Baltic states, then some Mediterranean bunches, and some in Central Europe and some in North Europe, because in this way, then we are covering all the geographical locations, and we by getting together and by making consortiums in such a way, we also rising up this understanding that what is problem in one region, because it's too less, that could be problem in another region that is too much. Yeah. For example, we have a lot of cystosols here in Baltics as well. We have a lot of water. The opposite are in central part. They have a lot of lime. They have no problem with acidification, but they have problem with water, and they could not understand what is wet in our understanding.
Yeah. I know this problem.
Yeah, and I think that helps a lot, because when these policy briefs are written, and when these recommendations to European Commission are given, so they are finally more balanced, and there is better understanding of differences of whole Europe, not to write the policy which is based just of needs on one region.
Yes,
And
yes.
what cause problems in another regions. As I think it is nowadays with happened with histosols and with histosols organic soils and with this wetting, rewetting and other issues where we have different opinions.
Yeah, we have also in Lithuania the same problem with opinions. Our
Yeah,
farmers were just no, 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 no. We don't want to talk about peatlands, wetlands, and like
yeah,
no, no.
yeah, as well different understanding what means rewetting. That, for example, rewetting, if we understand this rewetting as rise up of groundwater table, but for how much? And not to make understanding that the rewetting is the same as flooding.
Okay.
And not to do the rewetting in some sites just to reach some goals by flooding of plenty of another ones, because we have this tiny microrelief, and by wishing to do very good wishes, we could get big problems and to cause and to increase big problems in nearby areas, and there is discussions also if we want to change something. So there was huge programs in draining in previous century. So out these 30, 70, 80 years, there's another ecosystem. By killing and destroying of this ecosystem, we could not come back to the same as was in the beginning. Does it make sense? Maybe we could more focus on preventing these ones which is still we have, and to keep them, and to move forward. And those discussions, they are better understood by whole Europe when they come to our countries and when they saw by their eyes. The same is for us, because as we in our region understand with dry, that's not yet dry in Mediterranean part. There is really extremes. So those ones helps for policymakers as well for researchers to understand this difference of conditions in which we are implementing the policy and also practices.
Okay, so do you have partners, for example, at this moment from, I don't know, Lithuania, Estonia? Do you have some of collaboration? So if not, we can try to help you to find people like with with same attitude.
We as Latvian State Forest Research Institute also already are invited in one, I think to this one, soil 1.1 mission for healthy soil, and that is there is consortium Latvia, Lithuania, and Mediterranean and Central Europe countries. Yeah, and that's about fires and fire on impact on soils, because that one topic is not yet covered in our research, because we have research about biodiversity, how to manage. We have research about how it costs many to how many it costs to manage the soil in sustainable way, but those ones natural hazards were not yet covered. So we are in process about that one.
So actually, I would like to mention that our project Nations have matchmaking platform, in which platform we have over 800 people or organization from all the continent, also from Mediterranean, Scandinavian, different countries. So it's also for you would be, I don't know, one of the ways to find like partners in when you want to solve some problems. or maybe you can ask like to find some partners which are interesting for you, and we can make we can help for you to make matchmaking sessions with them, and you can discuss. I have in my slide everything about our project. So we have matchmaking.
I think that, sorry for interruption.
Okay.
I think that for us, Sofia State Forschungsresearch Institute Silva, that could be also interesting to join to some consortium for living labs in urban areas.
Okay.
And urban and industrial ones, because we have some activities also on if urban forests and forests nearby cities are covered by these urban areas, then those we have different rules for management of urban forests. So that's different. There are some limitations because they are aimed to cooperate. We should cooperate with society and to do as citizens, like to see forest. So these things. So I think that for us it would be interesting to jump in these urban areas, because there's also some research activities had been done. Of course, those research activities at the beginning, they were focused on forest management, but by management we also make some impact on soils.
So we are planning, maybe we will try to make, I don't know, maybe in the beginning of August, kind of I don't know, I couldn't say like matchmaking session, but like pitching session, like with different organization from Baltic region. Maybe it will be interesting for you, and you can try to find some partners. But I will look to the matchmaking platform, and I will try to find maybe some of partners would be good for you for urban or industrial.
Yeah, because in this urban forests, there for our institute there is a long-term cooperation with Riga City company, Riga City Forest Company, and also we have experience in, if it's industrial soils, then we have experience in research and consulting of recultivating a forest former mining areas, as well for gravel as and lime, as for minerals and also for feed. Those ones directions were also topic for our research activities. But I think that end of August that is too late, because all serious consortiums, they are already working on the application. They are already
beginning. I said maybe just that
they are in the beginning.
Okay.
Strong ones, they are already.
So I will try to find you for you. I will try to look to the platform, and I will try to find some ideas for you, and I will reach you. I think I have in registration form your contacts, and I will try to talk with some people, and maybe I will try to maybe I will find some partners for you, and you can reach each other for urban industrial living labs. So
yeah, and maybe our partners and also customers, could say.
Yeah, I will look. Maybe I will find.
Us, maybe our Riga City Forest already is there. It could happen. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
There is because you mentioned in your presentation that there is research and as well industry.
Yes.
So they have both. They fitting to both. They are as well industry. They from industrial they do some production, as well they are civil society, because those are city-owned forests. That means that it's at municipality level.
Yes.
And the municipality are municipality as industry because they do some management activities and getting some income, or they are civil society. That's hard to understand because I think they are between of they are sitting on both of that chairs.
Yeah, so it depends. I
It
think.
depends,
Yeah,
yeah.
it depends
Mhm.
probably. So, okay, I wrote to my notes what we talked, and I promise I will try to look. Maybe I will find something interesting for you, useful for you, so I have your contacts. And okay, so I would like also in the end of my presentation to mention that in our nation, sorry, in our nation website, you can find a lot of, I think, useful information about living labs and about, as I mentioned, matchmaking platform. So I think matchmaking platform is one of the best like tool which we created. So all the time I'm announcing it, and because I feel that it has value, and also as I said, we can try to provide then coaching sessions. Also, we have a kind of mentors who can help when if you have idea and you maybe we will try to help you, as I said, to find some consortium with your ideas about urban and industrial. So for more information, I'm just want you to invite to come to our website, and
Mhm.
I think you will find more information, and we have some videos as well, so you can watch it. And okay, my slides is not working again. So, and here is my contact, so you can free to write me, and maybe I will write you an email, and you can see my my phone, and we can talk and we can arrange the meeting. So no worries if you want to ask something more. So we can reach each other. And as I said, like this week, I hope so that we will have slides in Latvian. So we have interpreters who try um, to translate in Latvian. So I'm not sure that it's. I hope it will be like in a good way. So not Google Translate or other. So I hope so. So maybe after all you can like give me the feedback.
It's
Was
possible to understand.
yeah, because like for me I'm not good in Latvian. So I cannot like to check it's good or not, but maybe but for you
that is the thing that sometimes we had once experience that one enterprise translated to us from English to Latvian, and then we translated from their Latvian to normal Latvian.
yeah, so yeah. For example, like Lithuanian part, I did by myself, so I can be sure that, and some colleagues helped me who works in agriculture as well, so you can to compare. But when you have uh, to check like from different languages, so the same we have Estonian and Latvian presentation, so I'm not sure. So I hope that everything will be useful.
But anyway, project application should be written in English.
Yes.
Everybody who took part in consortium, who do some things, who is this contact person, he or she should be able to communicate in English and to write ideas in English. Later on, somebody will correct it. But anyway, so these local ones is mostly it's mostly for to motivate our stakeholders and especially smaller ones to engage later on in the process. Yeah.
So, like, like there is a problem, like in European context, our countries are very small. So, like, it's sometimes it's very hard for them to understand that we don't have a lot of, I don't know, research institute, associations, or I don't know, other stuff, So it's like for them, it's like, why? It's easy, but for us, because we are very small, for us to be like, for example, consortium leaders, it's sometimes I think it's impossible. Because you should be like
Yeah,
strong and big. We are
not
a little bit.
always, not always, but anyway, that is more harder to write the application in a way that this evaluator
Mhm.
believes that we are able to do it, because
Yes,
it depends from evaluators, and if they have
yes, yes,
opinion
yes,
that
yes.
you should be huge, then
Mm-hmm.
it's, yeah, then it is.
Because when like when
Yeah,
you're
I know.
thinking that like if you are huge, probably maybe you have more experience or more or maybe bigger team, who can put a lot of efforts on them. So I don't know, like it's speculation.
Yeah, but I think that these smaller one teams, they are more multidisciplinary, and they are not so big in one problem. They
Mm-hmm.
are more, yeah, they should to fix on different topics to survive, and therefore they are more wider experienced as the
Mm-hmm.
huge ones. That's one thing. Another one, nowadays we already learned that when we are coming as partners, there's no necessary to choose some specific region in Latvia, because Latvia in European scale already are as one region. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I don't talking about Liechtenstein, Andorra, and some countries in the
Yes,
north,
yes, yes.
Slovenia, and those ones who is approximately in the same or even smaller. But for another ones, yeah, that is.
So okay, so it was very nice to meet you with all of you. So Dagny, thank you for a nice conversation. Uh, I think that I hope so that I will come back to you with some good news, some good information after it, and I hope that you will find nice partners with good ideas and you can join good consortium.
Yeah, it would be very nice
Mm-hmm.
to also to increase our capacity in these urban,
Okay, so
at
I
least in
put it,
urban areas. Yeah.
yeah, I put it down everything. So, and my colleague Gabriel, he should put the link of survey of our event. So I would be grateful if you put some feedback in it. So I will stop sharing because for me it's impossible to see the chat and everything. So okay, I'm stop sharing. So do we have something in the chat?
There is
Okay.
information where to click to get more info.
Oh, open desk, click, so we
Yeah, there's
can.
not yet evaluation platform. I
So
understand.
I will check in my email and I will try to us. Wait a second. And my computer is not so so fast today. And I think I have evaluation form in my email, and I will share. Wait a minute. Hmm. And I don't have. Okay. Okay, feedback. Probably this is. Okay, I will put it here. So I think you can see it, yes? Can
Where?
you see in the
Where?
chat?
Not yet.
Okay, maybe, I'm not,
Maybe you didn't push the button send.
I pushed it, but I will repeat it to you. So,
Yeah, no, it repeat.
so you probably could see,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
expert, in Zoom. So for me, sometimes it's because normally we're using Teams in our company. So for me, it's like, what I have to do here? It's like,
Yeah, I got it.
okay, so probably I would like to thank you for everybody. And Dagny, it's very nice. It was very nice to meet you, and it was very nice to have very fruitful and interesting conversation. And so, as I promised, could you write here your email? For me, it would be better. So I will copy and I will have your contacts. Not better. Do not go to the system or to have, and I will put somewhere. And for me, it will be easier.
Yep.
Okay, and I will copy. Okay. And I will put somewhere here. So thank you very much. And I hope that you will have very good day today. So it was nice to meet you.
Okay.
So goodbye.